Jnanakosha, Upanishads.
Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upavachramastamam Jyashtarajam Brahmanan Brahmanaspadanat Shrunvannoti Vispeda Sadhanam. Om Purnamidam Purnamadah Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Krishna Yajurveda Upanishad, Svetaashva Upanishad, Part 2. May that divine being, who, though himself colorless, gives rise to various colors in different ways, with the help of his own power, for his own incrustable purpose, and who dissolves the whole world in himself in the end, may he endow us with good thoughts. That itself is the fire, that is the sun, that is the air, that is the moon, that is also the starry firmament, that is the Brahman, that is the waters, that is Prajapati. Thou art the woman, thou art the man, thou art the youth and the maiden too. Thou art the old man who totters along, leaning on the staff. Thou art born with faces turned in all directions. Thou art the dark blue butterfly and the green parrot with red eyes. Thou art the thunder cloud, the seasons and the oceans. Thou art without beginning and beyond all time and space. Thou art he from whom all the worlds are born. There is a single female of red, white and black color who is unoriginated and who produces numerous offsprings resembling herself. By her side lies one unborn male out of attachment for her, while another male, also unoriginated, forsakes her after having enjoyed her. Two birds of beautiful plumage who are inseparable friends reside on the self same tree. Of these, one eats the fruits of the tree with relish, while the other looks on without eating. Sitting on the same tree, the individual soul gets entangled and feels miserable, being deluded on account of his forgetting his divine nature. When he sees the other, the Lord of all, whom all devotees worship, and realizes that all greatness is his, then he is relieved of his misery. Of what avail are the Vedas to him who does not know that indestructible, highest, eternal being, in whom the gods and the Vedas reside? Only those who know that are satisfied. The Lord of Maya protects the Vedas, sacrifices, spiritual practices, past and future religious observances, all that the Vedas declare, and the whole world, including ourselves. The other, again, is bound by Maya in this. Know then that nature is Maya and that the great God is the Lord of Maya. The whole world is filled with beings who form its parts. One attains infinite peace on realizing that self-effulgent, adorable Lord, the bestower of being blessings, who though one presides over all the various aspects of Prajapati, and in whom this universe dissolves, and in whom it appears in manifold forms. May he who created the gods and supports them, who witnesses the birth of the cosmic soul, who confers bliss and wisdom on the devoted, destroying their sins and sorrows, and punishing all branches of law, may he, the great seed and the Lord of all, endow us with good thoughts. Let us offer our worship with oblations to that blissful, divine being who is the Lord of the Devas, who governs the bipeds and the quadrupeds, and in whom the world rests. One attains infinite peace when one realizes that blissful one who is subtler than the subtlest, who creates the world in the midst of chaos, who assumes various forms, and who is the only one that encompasses the universe. He alone is the protector of the world at the proper time. He is the Lord of the universe hidden in all creatures. In him the divine sages and the gods merge themselves. Realizing him thus one cuts asunder the fetters of death. One is realized from all fetters on realizing the blissful one who encompasses the world and who hides himself in all beings in an extremely subtle form as the essence finer than ghee. This divinity who created the universe and who pervades everything always dwells in the hearts of creatures, being finitized by emotions, intellect, will, and imagination. Those who realize this become immortal. When ignorance is dispelled, there is neither day nor night, neither being nor non-being. There is only that auspicious one who is imperishable and who is worthy of being adored by the Creator. From him has proceeded the ancient wisdom. No one can grasp him above or across or in the middle. There is none equal to him whose name is great glory. His form does not stand within the range of the senses. No one perceives him with the eye. Those who know him through the faculty of intuition, as thus seated in their heart, become immortal. Some, being afraid, approach thee, thinking that thou art the unborn. O Rudra, deign to protect me with that benevolent face of thine. Injure us not in respect of children, grandchildren, and life, nor in respect of cows and horses. Do not destroy our heroes in thy anger. O Rudra, we invoke thee always with offsprings. Ignorance leads to the perishable, wisdom leads to immortality. Entirely different from these is he, the imperishable, infinite, secret, supreme Brahman, in whom exists wisdom as well as ignorance, and who governs them both. He alone presides over nature in all aspects and controls every form and every cause of production. He witnesses the birth of the firstborn seed of golden color and nourishes him with wisdom, differentiating each genius into its species and each species into its member. The Supreme Being withdraws them once more into their own ground, again bringing forth the agents of creation. The great self holds a sway over them all. Just as the sun shines, lightening up all space above, below, and across, even so does that one adorable God, the respiratory of all goodness and greatness, preside over everything that has the nature of a cause. He who is the one source of the world brings out everything out of his own nature and leads creatures to perfection according to their deserts, and endows each being with its distinguishing characteristic. Thus he presides over the whole universe. He lies hidden in the Upanishads, which form the essence of the Vedas. Him the Hiranyagarbha knows as the source of himself and the Vedas. Those gods and seeds who realized him in former days became identified with him and verily became immortal. Only he who gets attached to the pleasurable qualities of things does work for the sake of its fruits and enjoys the fruits of his own deeds. Though really the master of the essence, he becomes bound by the three gunas and assuming various forms wanders about through the three paths as a result of his own deeds. Subtle as the point of a goad and pure, effulgent and infinite like the sun, he alone is seen assuming as another the size of a thumb on account of the finiteness of the heart in which he appears, and associating himself with egoism and sankalpa on account of the limitations of the intellect. That individual soul is as subtle as a hair point divided and subdivided hundreds of times, yet he is potentially infinite. He has to be known. He is neither female nor male nor neuter. Whatever body he assumes, he becomes identified with that. By desire, contact, sight, and delusion, the embodied soul assumes successively various forms in various places according to his deeds, just as the body grows nourished by showers of food and drink. The embodied self chooses many forms, gross and subtle, based on the qualities belonging to himself, to the actions, and to the mind. The cause of their combination is found to be still another. Realizing him who is without beginning or end, who creates the cosmos in the midst of chaos, who assumes many forms and who alone envelops everything, one becomes free from all fetters. That supreme divinity who created both life and matter, who is the source of all arts and sciences, who can be instituted by a pure and devoted mind, realizing him, the blissful, the incorporated, and incorporeal, and the nameless, one is freed from further embodiment. Some deluded thinkers speak of nature and others of time as the force that revolves this wheel of Brahman. But really all this is only the glory of God manifested in the world. It should be known that energy assumes various forms such as earth, water, light, air, and ether at the command of him who is the master of gunas and the maker of time, who is omniscient, who is pure consciousness itself, and by whom all this is ever enveloped. After setting the creation in motion and withdrawing himself from it, he unites the principle of spirit with the principle of matter, with one, with two, with three, and with eight, through the mere instrumentality of time and their own inherent properties. He gives the start to the creation associated with the three gunas of nature and others all things. Again, in the absence of the gunas, he destroys all created objects and after destruction remains aloof in his essence. By previously meditating as seated in one's own heart on that adorable being who appears as the universe and who is the true source of all creatures, he can be perceived even though he is the primeval cause of the union of spirit with matter, as well as the partless entity transcending the three divisions of time. Knowing him who is the origin and dissolution of the universe, the source of all virtue, the destroyer of all sin, the master of all good qualities, the immortal and the abode of the universe, as seated in one's own self, he is perceived as different from and transcendenting the tree of samsara as well as time and form. May we realize him, the transcendent and adorable master of the universe, who is the supreme Lord over all the Lord, the supreme God above all the gods, and the supreme ruler over all the rulers. His has nothing to achieve for himself, nor has he any organ of action. No one is seen equal or superior to him. His great power alone is described in the Vedas to be of various kinds, and his knowledge, strength, and action are described as inherent in him. No one in the world is his master, nor has anybody any control over him. There is no sign by which he can be inferred. He is the cause of all and the ruler of individual souls. He has no parent, nor is there anyone who is his Lord. May the Supreme Being, who spontaneously covers himself with the products of nature just as a spider does with the threads drawn from its own navel, grant his absorption in Brahman. God, who is one only, is hidden in all being. He is all pervading and is the inner self of all creatures. He presides over all actions and all beings reside in him. He is the witness and he is the pure consciousness, free from the three gunas of nature. Those wise men who ever feel in their own hearts the presence of Him who is the one ruler of the inactive many and who makes the one seed manifold, to them belongs eternal happiness and to none else. He is the eternal among the eternal and the intelligent among all that are intelligent. Though one he grants the desires of many, one is released from all fetters, and realizing Him, the cause of all, who is comprehensible through philosophy and religious discipline. The sun does not shine there, neither the moon nor the stars. There these lightnings shine not. How then this fire? Because He shines, everything shines after Him. By His light all this shine. The one destroyer of ignorance in the midst of this universe, He alone is the fire which is stationed in water. Realizing Him alone, one overcomes death. There is no other path for emancipation. He is the creator of everything as well as the knower of everything. He is His own source. He is all-knowing and He is the destroyer of time. He is the respiratory of all good qualities and the master of all sciences. He is the controller of matter and spirit and the Lord of gunas. He is the cause of liberation from the cycle of birth and death and of bondage which results in its continuance. He is the soul of the universe. He is immortal and He is the rulership. He is the all-knowing, the all-pervading, the protector of the universe, the eternal ruler. None else is there efficient to govern the world eternally. He who at the beginning of creation projected Brahman, universal consciousness, who delivered the Vedas unto Him, who constitutes the supreme bridge of immortality, who is the partless, free from action, tranquil, faultless, taintless, and resembles the fire that has consumed its fuel. Seeking liberation, I go for refuge to that effulgent one whose light turns the understanding towards the Atman. Only when men shall roll up the sky like a skin will there be an end of misery for them without realizing God. Himself realizing Brahman by the power of self-control and concentration of mind, as well as by the grace of God, the sage Svetaashva expounded well to the highest order of sannyasins the truth of the supremely holy Brahman resorted to all by the seas. This highest mysticism, expounded in the Vedanta in a former age, should not be taught to one whose passions have not been subdued, nor to one who is not a worthy son, nor to an unworthy disciple. These truths, when taught, shine forth only in that high-souled one who has supreme devotion to God and an equal degree of devotion to the spiritual teacher. They shine forth in that high-souled one only. Oh, may Brahman protect us both together. May He nourish us both together. May we both work together with great energy. May our study be vigorous and effective. May we not hate each other. Om, peace, peace, peace. Here ends the Svetaashva Upanishad included in the Krishna Yajur Veda.